look like it's of the same type of database. Somebody or something has to translate these vendor differences. And the bottom line in the gateway world is either you translate the differences within your application, or you buy a product which translates the differences for you. And we're providing full functional gateways which translate all of these differences for you, so that the way that you get to DB2 data or RMS data or IMS data is always the same. It's through a single query language called OpenSQL. Now there are other types of gateways in the market. There are actually two other types. There's the type that Oracle provides, which I like to call a pass-through gateway. And essentially, a pass-through gateway allows you to connect to a foreign database. So if you are running an Oracle application, you need to get the DB2 data. Oracle supplies a product called SQL Connect, which allows you to connect to DB2. However, that product, SQL Connect, doesn't do any vendor translations for you. So in your Oracle application, you now have to write DB2 SQL code, handle DB2 data types, handle DB2 error messages, etc., to get to DB2 data. Whereas remember, the Ingress solution allows you to send a single version of SQL, the same that you would use against an Ingress database, to a DB2 database or an RMS file system, and not have to worry about any of these translations within your application. So pass-through gateways are partially functional gateways which require a lot of work on your part to get to other vendors' data. And Oracle actually provides two varieties of this. It ends up that tools like SQL Forms, this is a good gotcha to bring up with customers. SQL Forms does not work through SQL Connect against foreign databases. So you can't run SQL Forms against a DB2 database just using the Oracle SQL Connect gateway. What you have to do is you have to put an Oracle database into your picture, because SQL Forms requires information in the Oracle Data Dictionary. And Oracle doesn't support a common dictionary format as we do through common system catalogs. So for certain tools, Oracle actually requires you to install an Oracle database on, for example, your MVS system, and then an Oracle SQL Connect product to connect to DB2 to use SQL Forms against DB2. That's pretty messy. You already have DB2 running over on your mainframe, and you have to install an entire Oracle database as well as the SQL Connect product to run a product like SQL Forms against DB2. That's a fact. Okay.
So the native database actually issues SQL or DB2 native commands to it in order to pull information back into the Oracle database and then turn around and feed it back to the core?
Well, what is happening is essentially you still have to write in DB2 SQL. So the Oracle database is not doing any vendor translations for you. You have the same problem that you have with the SQL Connect product. It's just that you have to have the database there because SQL Forms requires information which is in the Oracle Data Dictionary for it to run. It stores forms, information, etc. In the dictionary. Yes?
Okay, so that would mean that if you're going to use SQL Forms to go against a DB2 application, that somehow you've got to get into the SQL Forms application and change the SQL in there to DB2 SQL?
That's correct. Yes. Absolutely. You have to do the translations within your application. The only thing that Oracle is supplying is a connection to DB2. Now, with Sybase, it's even worse, because not only do you have to do all these translations, but you actually have to build the gateway. What Sybase is providing is a toolkit which allows you to link code into the foreign database. So let's take the case of DB2. They provide you a set of source code which allows you to link source into the DB2 process so that you can store procedures at the DB2 site, which you can call from either a Sybase server or a Sybase client. It's a write-your-own gateway solution. they're not providing any product that you can install and access foreign information through standard SQL. The other big problem with this solution is that your access to foreign data is not through standard SQL, it's through database procedures. So essentially, you store a set of procedures up at your DB2 site, and you send procedure call names and associated parameters to the DB2 site. It executes the procedures against DB2 and downloads the information to your Oracle, to your Sybase server or client application. Yeah.
So you're saying if I have Sybase running on my Sun and I want to access some DB2 data, I can't write an SQL query as a user to access the DB2 database?
You write a database procedure and you store it at the remote site, and then within an SQL application you call the procedure.
Okay, so I just basically can't write
You cannot
an
use...
ad hoc SQL query from that Sun to the
No.
IBM main.
No, you cannot. This also means that you can't take a standard off-the-shelf tool and run it against DB2 through the Sybase solution, because the gateway only understands a predefined set of operations against the foreign data. What you can do with that DB2 data is delimited by the procedures which you've written to work against DB2. Okay, so let's summarize this. Essentially, for data unification, global optimization is required. Ingress provides it, Oracle doesn't. Sybase does not. Informix does provide a global optimizer in the Informix Star product, which is not full functional. It does offer some capabilities, it just is nowhere as sophisticated as an Ingress optimizer. It doesn't take as many factors into consideration. Two-phase commit. Yes, we provide automatic two-phase commit with recovery management in Ingress Star. Oracle does not provide two-phase commit today. They are promising that they will provide automatic two-phase commit in their next release of their database, which is release 7. Sybase provides two-phase commit, programmatic two-phase commit, which means that they give you the primitives to allow you to write within your application the two-phase commit protocol, and you have to handle any cases of failure to recover data into a consistent state should a computer fail or network or database. And Informix provides no two-phase commit capability whatsoever. Yeah?
The Oracle marketing literature here states that Ingress has a programmatic two-phase commit.
What you have is a slightly older version of their marketing literature, and they're probably still sending it around knowing Oracle. But it was true that we first came out with programmatic two-phase commit in 6.3, which allowed you to code the two-phase commit protocol within your application before we came out with two-phase commit support in Star. So when we came out with Intelligent Database, one of the features we came out with was programmatic two-phase commit. Subsequently, we came out with automatic two-phase commit in Ingress Star. So that's just outdated.
So
Yeah. Okay.
if you have 6.3, then you have programmatic two-phase commit. If you go, so if a system doesn't have Star yet released there, you don't have automatic two-phase commit.
That's correct. You have no two-phase commit prior to 6.3. If you have 6.3 base product, then you have programmatic two-phase commit. If you have 6.302, it ends up Ingress Star on your platform, which is currently only available on VMS, then you have automatic two-phase commit.
They also say that we don't have a manual override. What is that?
I think they're referring to some commands they support to build a recovery management system. Basically, the answer to that is recovery management is taken care of for you by Star with 6.3 Star. What they are doing is comparing our programmatic two-phase commit to I'm not sure exactly what they're comparing it to. Maybe they're comparing it to some primitives that Sybase provides.
Does non-block server mean anything?